Hey guys, today I have Pedro Ampira on the podcast. He's a very interesting guy. He lives out in Spain, so we're literally doing this podcast with 12 hours difference. Kind of cool. But anyways, he has an incredible YouTube channel. I would call him the Anthony Bourdain of hunting, right? So you can look up his name, Pedro Ampira, on YouTube. Cool hunts all over the world. And we get into that, how he got into hunting in Pakistan, Uganda, all these odd places that not everybody can hunt, or are really places people are willing to deal with the safety and the logistics and all those other challenges. It's really tough to hunt these places, but Pedro has done a ton of it and he depicts it really well in his videos. As we talk about in the podcast, a huge proportion of his audience is non-hunters. He does a really good job of depicting hunting in a very positive light. So without further ado, let's dive right into it. Pedro, super pumped to have you, man. It's very interesting. I mentioned it to you before we got on here, but me and you are in the hunting world, but I feel like we're on two, we create very different content, but your type of content in the hunting world is what I actually consume. You know what I mean? Like people ask me, they say, "Hey, Cliff, do you watch any YouTube?" And I really don't. Like I don't watch any YouTube that's really, how-to stuff on hunting or that sort of thing. And it's not just hunting, like I'm into other hobbies too. I like fishing and spearfishing. I don't watch a whole lot of YouTube stuff on that front, but when I do watch YouTube, I like this adventure stuff, like your hunts and kind of hunts that even for me, as a guy who has hunted quite a bit, particularly in the States and across North America, hunts to me that seem like on the fringe, man. They got the adventure component. I just watched your one in Pakistan. It's awesome stuff, dude. So I'm
Thank
happy to
you.
have you.
I appreciate it a lot. Like we really love what we do. So I think like what we try to share is what we like, and I'm yeah glad to hear that you like it.
So
That means that we think hunting the same way. So like we understand hunting the same way, which is great.
yeah, for sure. And well, in which what it's interesting, man, because I feel like hunters doesn't really matter where they're at on this earth. Even if you have I mean, you don't have a language barrier, but I've been around hunters that I have a language barrier with, and there's still like the humor, just what you enjoy doing, kind of the personalities. They always seem to jive. You know what I mean?
You know,
Um,
that's one of the amazing things about traveling is like no matter where you are, like you don't, most of the places that we go, we don't understand each other. Like we literally have five words. It's big, it's not big, shoot, not shoot, food and water. Like there is like five words that you can really understand. But like between hunters, I think like when we get towards that goal of trying to harvest one particular animal, like we understand each other. And I think like we understand the emotions, the frustrations, the happiness, like that's, and I think that breaks all type of barriers, religion, cultures, and it's pretty cool to experience.
Yeah, for sure. And it's just like everybody's obviously driven for the same goal and share this passion. So I'm sure you see that a lot. Man, watching your videos, I'm curious. Well, I'm curious. Two things are gonna jump out to me, and then I'm sure jump out to my audience. And Petra, how did you get into it, man? How did you get into doing? I mean, obviously you can give us your hunting background, that sort of thing. But how did you get into doing the international stuff? Because you're doing it at a level that not there's not a lot of guys that are doing it.
So I think like well, basically my dad has been hunting worldwide since I don't know since a long time ago when you were booking hunts by letter and all that. So a long time ago,
Yeah.
and he took me since I was I think 12. He took me on the first international trip. And he has not been like a collector of trophies. He has been a collector of experiences, and he loves like the adventure. So, as a reference, like my first trip to Africa was not to the typical destination of Africa, was to Sudan to hunt in the Nubian ibex and the Barbary sheep, originally from the Nubian desert. So it's like
Okay.
a super unique type of trip. The second one, we went to the rainforest. So he's like as much as he's into collecting trophies, he's about collecting cultures and countries and environments like the rainforest, the mountains, like each of those hunts.
Yeah,
And
sure.
and he has been my main mentor, and we have been hunting together all over since then.
Yeah.
So
And he's still pretty active hunting with you.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and also he has been documenting those hunts since he was very young, not as a TV show or whatever, but more as a reference on hunting, like like as a just remember the trip. So he will be like, okay, we are here and this is the we are here. This is my guide. This is the tent. So kind of like home style
Right.
filming. But he has been documenting those hunts. He has been writing about each single hunt, a diary on every single trip. So I think he has been the one that has taught me the importance of documenting stuff so you can remember in the future, you can learn, you can share it, and that's really really valuable because
Yeah,
over
yeah.
time you end up forgetting things, you end up forgetting stories. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
No, I totally get that. How did he get into it, Pedro?
he got into it through a friend of my grandfather, but my grandfather
Okay.
wasn't. He hunted a little bit, but wasn't a big hunter. And actually, my dad started pretty late, so he started like when he was like 18 or something like that. When he saw a friend of my grandfather come home with a woodcock. I don't know if you know the woodcock, what it is. Like
Yeah,
a,
the
it's
bird.
kind of like a snipe, yeah, the bird.
Yeah, yeah.
And we were like, that's a cool bird. I want to know where they're from. I want to know. And he got just addicted, and then he transitioned to big game hunting and hunting all over the world. So
Yeah, and got into the depths of it. Um, so your explanation, what I would call it, is you kind of have a little bit of a cheat code, Pedro, because you had your dad who exposed you to this international stuff, and just so if the viewers who don't know, kind of your content, we're talking about Pakistan. We're talking. What are some other like fringe places you've been to hunt? Just so people
I
kind of
mean,
understand.
lately we have been in Tajikistan, but I mean in Asia we have been in many countries: Pakistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, all those stands, Russia a bunch of times,
Yeah, all of
Azerbaijan.
a bunch of different spots in
Yeah,
Africa. So
in
so these are
Africa, like a wide range of countries that they are not classic destinations, like Benin, Sudan, Central
right.
African Republic. Many countries that some of them you cannot even hunt anymore. So
Yeah. So the question I have, man, is that, and I don't mean it in a derogatory way, but you kind of had this access to it and experience through your father, which I'm sure kind of gave you some familiarity with it, and maybe in a sense even feeling safer with it because you're exposed to it. Do you have any thoughts for guys? Because I'm sure you've run into folks that have just done it, just kind of out of the blue, or maybe they even talk to you for like a reference, to like go to some of these places. Do you have advice for those guys that are? I would put myself in that category, Pedro. Like I've hunted all over North America, all over Canada. I've fished in Mexico. I've fished and fished in Central America, but nothing beyond that, right? And nothing, nothing that what I would call, the State Department's not telling I'm not going anywhere where the State Department's like, hey, Cliff, you really shouldn't go there. You know what I mean? So
I
do you
think
have
like
thoughts on that?
yeah, I think like these days, like it's super important the outfitter that you use. Like there is some outfitters, like I think more and more, like maybe 20 years ago when my father started hunting, like you literally were contacting someone that you had never seen before. These days you have reference and some of the outfitters are really good. So I will start off basically on places that they not guarantee you the animal, but they guarantee you that the experience that you're gonna get is what you expect, which
Yeah.
sometimes it's very important to talk with even hunting agencies because sometimes people they want to jump the hunting agency and contact directly with the local guy, but sometimes that local guy can only offer you one product, and maybe what you are looking is to a different product. So because you are more into the adventure, for you it's more important the adventure than the size of the trophy, or you are more into the whole experience and you want to and some other people they have very limited time, so for them to hunt the animal in 2 days is better than to hunt it in 4 days.
Right.
But for me it's the opposite. Like I want to make sure that when I go to a place the outfitter understand that for me it's a big investment, those hunts, and for me those 10 days it's my vacation. So I want to like in my best scenario for me to kill on the last day will be the best because I will be able to enjoy those 10 days outside the hunt, the tent, the adventure,
Sure.
because I want the experience. Other guys are busier or whatever, they value a lot collecting trophies or they are not much into the culture. I don't know, like to make sure to have the right guy that understand your needs so you get the experience, because maybe you can get disappointed because you go to a place and you were thinking that it was going to be this amazing adventure, but the guides are like, it's a business. And I think lately some of the hunts are so expensive that the outfitters and the guides, for them, like time, it's very valuable because they want you to succeed as soon as possible. And for me, when you go to a place and you hunt on the first day of the hunt, for me it's a disappointment.
Right.
And some guides get mad at you, like, how are you not going to shoot it? Like, I don't know, like I have been traveling for 3 days. I don't want to go home
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Just like,
But some,
yeah.
so I think understanding that and being able to share with a agent or with an outfitter which are your expectations make a big difference.
You
And
know
also,
that
like, yeah, to start with places that you feel safe. Like, I think that I have been traveling all my life with my dad in very strange places, and probably what I'm comfortable at doing or whatever, it's different than someone that is traveling for the first time.
right. But I'm
So
sure
like some,
it's repetition. The more you do it, the more it becomes
yeah, it's like
normal.
any sport, like climbing or whatever, like, but traveling, it's another type of, like for me, like the flights, the visas, the documents, like it can be stressful because you are going on a hunt and you go
Sure.
there, I don't know. We are very used to that part of the travel. So we,
Yeah, you just get used to doing it. You just get used to doing it just like anything else.
yeah.
I can totally understand that. Pedro, have you ever I mean, I hate to ask this like right off the bat, but is there anywhere you've gone where you truly felt unsafe?
I mean, there's some places that are tricky. So last time when we went to, I think it was last year when we went to Uganda. So we were hunting in northern part of Uganda, and I think like 2 months before or 1 month before, the three tourists got killed over there. So like, it's not that they got it was a robbery or whatever. No, they got killed, three
Yeah.
Europeans. So like the guy that I mean, like the military that were managing the area that we're hunting. I mean, for the tourism, that impacts for over a decade. Like if three guys get killed on a national park, you're not going to have a single tourist in over a decade.
Yeah, it crushes it.
So
Sure.
it's very risky. So they put a security from the military, and we're hunting with a guy with an RPG. We're hunting with a guy that had like one of these really big machine guns, like really big, the ones that you set up on a tripod or whatever,
Yeah.
and another guy with the bomb. Like that we were on the pickup truck, and you have a guy that he has a bomb, like for the RPG, and you're like, is that thing gonna explode? And you're like, no.
You're like it's not making you necessarily feel much safer.
And you have the local guy. No, this is for the bomb. It is no problem. This is piston not on. No problem. You're like, okay, yeah, no problem, but hold to that
Yeah.
properly just in case.
That's funny. Is there any
And
what about the inverse, Pedro? A lot of these places like are there places that that get a bad rap, have bad branding, but when you're there, you're just like, man, this place just feels safe to me.
I
It,
think
it
like the places that we go, it seems like mountains and they are pretty local, separate and very remote. I think in general the communities are very welcoming. I think you get more disruptive people on big cities,
Sure.
that the economics are not great and all that. So, for example, Pakistan, where we were, the people were amazing. It's a part of also of the Islam that they are very open-minded and they were super nice. They were sharing a lot, so it was amazing. But we were in Pakistan, I don't know, like 15 years ago, and we had to turn around because there was some shooting.
Oh, okay.
Like last month, I think 6 guys got killed, probably 60 kilometers away from where we were. So, is it safe where we were? Yes. You can get in trouble, probably. Like it's not something.
Sure.
And some part of the countries, the people are great, but in some other part of the countries, they are still really rough. Like women don't have any rights. They still
Yeah,
the
sure.
killing people with rocks is still a thing. So like it might
Yeah, yeah.
sound crazy, but
Yeah, you can't
things
deny it. You
can.
can't deny it that it's there. Yeah.
Yeah, but
No.
in generally I think like the hunting people and the local people are pretty nice.
All right, guys, in some of my content, you're gonna see that I've been using this chest holster from Invader Concepts. This is with my 10mm. I also use it with my Glock 19 and even a PMR 30. I'm gonna do a bunch of content here in the next couple months on that around bear defense. It should be interesting. It looks a little awkward to have your gun under your bino harness, but if you test out all the different variations, it is the best and you have it on you all the time. I do have a discount code, it's CliffG, and it's for 10% off. Go check them out. Yeah, and they're in all these places pretty welcoming to hunting, huh? Because I'm assuming that a lot of these places hunting is not really all that mainstream.
Yeah, no, but those people, and they see directly they know the value of hunting, and also you go into such a real places that you also see the reality of those places. Because I think when you go through travel and general tourism, they kind of put these shows to you. So you will go to this little town in Africa, and everyone is dressed great, and they dance for
Sure.
you, and you are like, oh, the Maasai or the Pygmies, they are amazing people. But when you hunt with them, you really get to know them better, and sometimes it's not as you will expect in the real world because things are rough. Like, so when we're hunting with the Pygmies, for example, which they live in the rainforest, and we're in Cameroon, and so you talk to them and you are like, do you guys understand that if you kill all the little small game and you keep poaching to sell the meat, like sooner or later, like there is not going to be more game, and what are your kids going to do? And they are like, I don't know, it's their problem, it's not mine.
Yeah.
You're like, oh. So like you understand like the perspective of future, and when they and you see the people, and you are there, and you see like how when they get food from the animals, I'm not saying everyone, but I have seen this myself, like the husband or like the main person of the family will eat first, and when he's full he will share with the family.
Yeah.
And you are like it's so different that sometimes you also see like the reality of some places of the world that is completely not what we are used to.
Yeah, sure. And you're seeing, I could see that, like, even as a like a tourist to these places outside of hunting, where you're not actually like, you know, living with them day to day, hunting with them every day, you might not ever see that. Is what you're getting at, and I could totally see that. You know,
No,
I
and some things are shocking. Like when we were hunting elk in Mongolia, those guys didn't want the meat. And he's like, what do you mean? Like you see your face, you are like, what do
yeah,
you mean? He's like, what? Like you're eating sheep all the time. What do you
sure.
mean you don't want the elk meat?
They're just not
Like if
into
you
it.
guys are living on a tiny yurt, you don't have much. We have shot the elk. 100%, we pack the whole elk. It's like, I don't
Sure.
care what
Yeah,
you guys
yeah.
do. You give it to your uncle. But like, nah, doesn't matter. Like, what do you mean doesn't matter? We have harvest an animal. We're going to make the most out of it. I'm not going to leave it.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
like, to understand, like, it blows your mind to see, like, I don't know, like, this is disappointing,
you know, it's
in a way.
interesting that that particular topic to me is very interesting, Pedro, because I think that the utilization of animals, you know, it in different places and in different cultures is has always shocked me because in the U.S. You know, and I'm imagining like in Europe and Spain, it's very similar. You know, we all tend to agree for the most part that we kind of put wild game meat on a pedestal. You know what I mean? It's like part of our culture. You know, if my freezer's got a, you know, a 3-year old, you know, 2 pounds of beef hamburger in it, like a lot of guys will throw that away. If they have, you know, a pound of elk from 5 years ago in their freezer, guys really don't want to throw it away. It's like a weird. It has nothing to do with taste. You know, we can argue about that or whatever. You know, what tastes better, but there's something intrinsic about it that we value it very high, like within our culture. But I have noticed, and I noticed it with guides over the years that worked for me that were from New Zealand or they're from other places. The culture around utilization of animals, it's not that like they're bad people or whatever, but it can be significantly different. Like not utilizing all the animal is actually fairly common in some places, and and I think it's kind of mind blowing to some people who aren't used to that. You know what I mean? And it's
No,
go ahead.
I think it's related a little bit on the amount of animal that you get access to.
Yeah,
So like if you guys shoot one elk a year, you're gonna make the most out of it. But if you are in areas that you need to control the population of hogs or wild boar,
sure.
like at some point you are hunting to control the population, and there's like what do I do with the whole meat? And now, like for example, in Spain, there is this talk around wild boars, for example, to allow us to give away the meat because they don't allow us to give away the meat for
Oh, okay.
sanitary issues. So you're like,
Yeah,
okay, I mean, like there is a point that I cannot stuff more wild boars in my fridge or whatever, like I cannot keep more meat. So give me
yeah,
tools so I can either sell the meat, which I don't think is great because people may hunt to make money out of it,
sure.
but uh, but also at least so I can give it away and sell it. I think it's also great because a lot of people are spending a lot of money in ammunition, in travel, getting to those places, controlling the populations, and at the end, uh, they don't know what to do with them. So I think
Yeah, yeah.
probably in places like that they have a more wildlife than people, I can see that's the
Oh
case.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm not. To me, it's not like I'm not. It's not a judgment thing or whatever. I get it. I mean, even in the states, Pedro, we have it like the Texan, Texas, that hunting culture. Just in general, due to the abundance of species, some of the species are invasive, like the pigs, all of that. Like, there's going to be less utilization of the animal just because for the exact just rational reasons. But it is amazing to me how different it is. And I have a question related to it that well, actually, you kind of answered it with the elk thing, and I wonder if you've seen this anywhere else. But there are certain species that in certain states in the U.S. people really don't like to eat them. Like for instance, I've noticed when I'm in Texas, for the most part, guys will not touch aoudad, Barbary sheep. And then they also, when I've been in Texas, they don't like antelope. For most of the guys that I've hunted with down there for antelope were, pronghorn antelope. And it's interesting because I'll be in Wyoming. I mean, I like antelope, and I've actually eaten a bunch of aoudad too. And I don't. I mean, it's not the best meat in the world, but I haven't found it like unedible. So have you noticed that anywhere else other than the elk thing? You just
I
like
I
meat
think it's a
preference?
mental. I think it's a
Yeah.
mental cultural thing of like, nah, out that meat is bad, and you
Right.
keep telling between bodies, and suddenly out that meat is bad. But I think like if you cook it properly, I don't think there is that much. I don't think there is huge difference between wild game meat if the meat has been processed properly, which I think it's key.
Sure.
Like how do you cool it down? If you let it rest before freezing, all that process, I think it's key to take the gamey meat out of the meat. But I think that cultural thing of sharing between each other. We did an experiment when we were in Mexico. We were hunting a cougar, a mountain lion. We were hunting a goose deer. We saw a crane and also geese. So we had those four
Okay.
animals. And it's like, okay, let's do a blind test.
Mm-hmm.
All the meat is gonna be cooked the same way, and we're gonna with blind test kind of like rate the different meats and see what is the best. The one that won was the mountain lion, then the crane, then the deer, and finally the goose. So like
Yeah.
the two worst looking animals, that the mountain lion, I skinned that animal and I was like, and I don't know what the mountain lion eat before we shot it, but like the whole smell is like there
I
is no
know.
way. And
Yeah,
like
dude.
when you
I
skin them, they don't look great. It looks like a cat. Well, it's a
it
cat, but it looks like it's like there's no
yeah,
way.
and they
Looks like an
kind of they
alien.
kind of smell like death too.
Yeah, it looks like
Yeah,
an
yeah.
alien. The smell is like there is no way this. And actually, when I think I was doing the blind test, I was eating the meat like so focused on like, is this gonna be the mountain lion? I'm not gonna like it. So like my whole brain was
You're
like, I'm
still
not
trying
gonna
to be
like it.
biased. Yeah.
Yeah. And when we rate the things, and it's like, did it really win the mountain lion? And we were like four or five guys. So we all of ours.
Yeah.
The same as the crane. The crane, they look awful. Like they doesn't look like a nice looking bird, but they actually call it the ribeye over the sky, I think. But
Sure.
it was great eating.
Yeah, dude, I think you nailed it, Pedro. I think it's mostly, just information this just gets disseminated, and then it confirms itself because it becomes odd. Like for instance, I used to take a lot of hunters down to Texas and hunt aoudad, and I used to pull back straps out of them all the time, take hindquarters and stuff, and every time I did it, I felt weird because if I was with local guys, they're like, "What are you doing?" You know what I mean? So it reiterates itself because if it's not the norm, you don't want to break the norm, and that so it's very powerful, and I think it's a very interesting thing that I maybe I'm just a dork about it. Because I agree with you. I think it's 100% just. Well, maybe not 100%. There's obviously some difference in what things taste like, but a lot of it is just the lore that's spread about certain species.
Yeah,
it's
I
kind
think
of
it
funny.
happens a lot with goats.
Yeah,
Like with goats or whatever, like they are not, and I think it's the smell, the same as like a red stag doing the rot doesn't taste good. I like.
yeah,
I mean, as long as you don't eat the skin that is full of pee or whatever, but like if you treat the backstrap properly and you treat the meat and you make sure that things don't get contaminated by the skin, by the pee, by the guts, like I don't think you can tell the difference personally.
yeah. No, I think you're right. I think we're gonna get some comments about how we're completely full of shit, Pedro. But I'm pretty sure you're right, dude.
Yeah.
It's way overplayed. You know what I mean? But anyways, it's interesting stuff. What man? If a guy came to you, Pedro, and I didn't mean to put you on the spot on this because I didn't prep you with this one. But if a guy like me came to you and like, hey, I've done a lot of hunting, but I want to do an adventure hunt. Money's not a giant issue, and time's not a giant issue. I've got 20 days to do it. I've got 50 grand to do it, or whatever. Don't even worry about the money component of it. What would you recommend? Do you have a trip right now that you would recommend a guy go on?
I mean, my favorite hunt that I have done ever will be hunting sheep in Norwest Territories on fully backpack hunt.
Oh,
I
okay.
think that's my top
Stone
trip.
sheep hunting.
No, it was a doll sheep, but it was
Oh,
like
doll
in
sheep.
Norwest.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
like that, which will be the same hunt as mountain caribou. So I don't think it's the species, but the whole fully backpack hunting on a remote place that every day you are bringing down the tent and moving it to a different location that you have never been there and it's completely new, and the freedom of like we stay here, we go to the next reach. I think that's unbeatable.
Yeah.
If it will have to be like a hunt outside of North America, probably I would recommend for the cultural contrast, the hunt, the adventure. I think a cool ibex hunt in either Kazakhstan or Kyrgyzstan, which are reasonable, the cost is pretty reasonable on a horseback. I think it's pretty cool,
Yeah. They're pretty
especially
fun.
like yeah, like if the guides or even Mongolia on the Altai. Like I think those mountains are cool. You are with horses, you are sleeping in tents in yurts. I think that's a pretty cool hunt, and I love also the Caucasus. So
So,
that's the mountain range that divides Europe with Asia, which is in the southern part of Russia with Azerbaijan, and in my opinion, it's the most beautiful looking mountain range in terms of like, if you will have to picture like draw me a mountain with the pine trees, a little bit of grass,
yeah.
tiny bit of snow on the peaks, that will be the Caucasus. And they
That's a
have the
place.
tour, and I think it's a great trip. Like
Yeah, a good trip. And so the I've heard the same thing about the ibex hunts. I've had several guys like encourage me to go do it. Well, one because it seems to be like a pretty like it's a like from a value perspective. If the economics are important, I've heard that it's a pretty
yeah,
good
it's
deal.
reasonable.
Yeah. And then so that's one I've heard several times. Now let's go back to the Northwest Territories side of things because you like to backpack hunt, pretty clear. You know what I mean, Pedro? But I've got a fair amount of like varied backpack hunting background, right? I've done a lot of them on my own. I've guided out of a backpack a lot in the western states, but a lot of it is like 3, 4, 5, 6 day hunts. So my first question is like on the Northwest Territory hunts, like how long are they, Pedro?
I saw it on day 9.
Yeah.
the ship, and it was like the first legal run that we saw. So it was like a long trip. I mean,
Yeah,
like
it's a
a long
grind.
hunt. Yeah, with not seeing game, because if you see game, you are like, okay, sooner or later. And I was with my bow, so we were like, it's not that we're gonna get a chance. And with the rifle, you have high chances of getting an
Sure.
opportunity and pulling it up. But with the boys, like I don't know, it's day 7 and we haven't seen one. Day
Yeah,
8,
yeah.
like it just
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
This is
this is
fun, but phew,
I'm glad that's what your answer was, because this is the path I want to go down. In my personal experience, there is a giant difference between going on a 4-day backpack hunt and like a 12-day backpack hunt. It's almost like, to me, it's night and day. And I guess, I mean, do you have thoughts on that? Do you have like, is there a moment, like, what's it about, Pedro? Is it about just that it's hard, it's difficult, and then on a long duration backpack hunt, you finally get to the point where you're just comfortable, and like, or what, is there something else that makes it appealing to you?
I think the appealing is that you really have enough time to appreciate the place and to connect properly with the place. Because
Okay.
like when you arrive, you are traveling, you arrive for 1 day, 2 days. When you have been like over a week, like you finally slow down yourself, I think, get
Yeah.
relaxed, get into that connection with nature, and suddenly you are part of it.
Right.
So I think you need enough time to slow down and understand. And when I was in Argentina last year, we were hunting red stacks, and it was a horseback hunt, and the weather was nice, so we were sleeping on the saddles at night. So we didn't have any tents or anything, and this and that. And we spent hunting for a week. And one of the last days, I told my guys, like, you know what? I think it would have been nice to have like a jet boil to be able to cook the water and heat the water in the mornings like faster. Because like like when you if you need to build a fire in the morning, put the can, let it boil, get the coffee. It's like it takes you over an hour. So it's
Sure.
like it would have been nice to have a jet boil to be faster and start hunting like quicker and all that. And it's like you're missing the point. You don't need the jet ball. You need that 1 hour to build a fire, see the water heat up, and be present, and and slow down because everything goes too fast. And we're like, that's great advice. I'm gonna take note because like I never thought it that way. Like we are always constantly searching for ways to be more efficient, be faster, and get more things done. And sometimes we need to slow down
Yeah.
and don't do that much.
Dude, I think it's such an important point, Pedro, and I think that particularly like guys that are listening to this that want to do the backpack hunting, like kind of like the hardcore hunting that has been heavily marketed, and a lot of the gears pushed that way and that sort of thing in the last decade or more. Um, it's it's very easy to never get to the point you're talking about. I think most backpack hunters in the western states have never gotten to that point on a backpack hunt. And I've actually thought about it a lot myself, like in my guiding, because I did a lot of exactly what you're talking about. I would get in the mode where I had back-to-back mountain goat hunts, and I literally, Pedro, was like, it was not about they were like 4 or 5 day backpack hunts, and it was just all about turning them over, getting guys to goats, killing a goat, getting out of the mountains, cleaning all my shit, pack my pack back up, go back out for 4 or 5 days, boom, 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 all about, just everything's about efficiency, you know what I mean? And I think that when you hunt that way, you never get to the point that you're talking about. You never get to the
Yeah,
point
good.
where you're like, this, what's the point of doing this? Like, this is the point.
A good friend of mine, he's like one of the top alpinists in the world. And when I talk to him, like his adventures, like he has been trying to climb Italy Chigon, he has been trying to climb the 8,000-meter peaks in the winter and with alpinism style. So he's like super hardcore. And
Sure.
you talk to him, and his projects, his adventures, is like 3 4 months. Like
Yeah.
takes 3 or 4 months to climb that mountain. And I was like, dude, like we are going on like 4 day hunt. You arrive
Yeah.
to the airport, you jump on a car, you jump on a horse, you get on the tent, and like I have been traveling for 2 days. Like the luxury to me is to have enough time that if I want to one day don't go out hunting and spend it on camp and just enjoy and relax to be able
It's
to have that,
okay.
which I have never been able to have. But like it would
Yeah,
be
yeah,
like a
yeah,
dream
yeah.
to know that you have way too much time and like today I'm tired. I don't feel like I need to recover. It's like let's stay in camp, let's talk, let's relax, and tomorrow we hit it hard. But
Yeah.
I don't know, life.
No, I mean, dude, I think it's a cool topic though, dude, because I run into it. This will be telling to the viewers, and it might even be interesting to you. But I noticed something over the years of booking hunts, Pedro. I could put a 9 day backpack hunt for like at one point I had some permits where I could do combination hunts, right? I could do like we could go mule deer hunting, we could do mule deer, black bear, and elk on the same backpack hunt. Kind of unheard of in the States to have like but you could do that. And I would book it, or I would market it as like a 10-day trip. Like who wouldn't want to do that, right? And I had a really hard time selling it. And the minute I would take that, and let's say I was charging, just for easy math, let's say I was charging 10 grand. If I changed the marketing to a 4.5 or 5 day hunt, exact same trip, but half the length, same exact price, I'd sell twice as many of it. Isn't that
That's
wild?
interesting.
Is
It's true
it?
that I think like getting in good enough shape on a 10-day hunt is tough.
Yeah, yeah, sure,
Like
sure.
you really need to like first of all you need to really like hunting because
Right.
everyone likes hunting until you are like 10, 12 days on a hunt and you are
Yeah.
like, dude, I don't like it as much. Like
Yeah.
this is getting rough. I need a break. And also you need to be physically arrive in good enough shape to be able to hunt on the last days of the trip.
Sure. Yep. And
So
and that is a barrier. I
and,
think the other
and
part is time.
one thing that I feel is strange about the time of the hunt is that, for example, for me on mountain hunts, to be 10 days on a backpack and all that, I love it. But for example, in Africa, if you are hunting out of the same camp more than 10 days, it seems that it's a little bit of the same thing. I don't know if it's the terrain or the abundance of game or whatever, but I feel like
It gets
in Africa,
monotonous.
we typically go 7 days. If in 7 days there is not a change in camp, I feel like you are always like driving the same roads, you are going out of the same camp. So, but when you are backpacking, every day is different. You are in a different valley, different camp, things happen. So, like, I think that's a very important point for me to, to
Right.
stay longer.
Guys, biltong, okay? I have been obsessed with this stuff for 3 or 4 years. Ever since I got on a keto, carnivore, paleo-esque type of diet, I've had a hard time finding healthy snacks. Biltong is a great option, particularly the slabs that have this fat on the side. That's where your energy is if you're a fat burner like me. Super simple ingredients in this, guys. Literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ingredients. Compare that to your gas station jerky. A great snack in the backcountry or just day to day. Biltong Depot is a huge supporter of my content. Go to their website, biltongdepot.com. Use my code CliffGray, CLIFFGRAY at checkout for 10% off and to support this content. Thanks, guys. Yeah, and you're talking about progressively backpack hunting, one camp to
Yeah.
the next camp to the next camp, which is interesting, Pedro, because and we'll get into gear and stuff a little bit, but it I find it interesting because 95% of folks who say they're backpack hunters, that's what they kind of imagine doing. But the vast majority of backpack hunts, at least in the States, are not like that. You know what I mean? You're not progressively hunting. So I could see how that would be a real interesting hunt to do. I mean, I've done it, short forms of it where maybe we change spots 2 or 3 times during a 7 day hunt or something like that. But daily, I mean, daily 10 days, I can see how physically it'd be, I mean, daunting too.
It's true that in Norway territories, the good thing is that the days were very long. So
Oh,
like you
yeah.
have a lot of time. It's just like the days are so long that you can
Yeah.
really like move a lot.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. You got some time for logistics and all of that good stuff. And it's kind of funny. I've always noticed like my time spent in Alaska and stuff. You ever notice the long days? you'll get less sleep, but your energy level stays up.
Yeah, and I think like I'm a huge fan of siesta, so I think I don't know if it's a Spanish
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
or not, but like the midday napping, it's like I don't know. I enjoy it more than the night sleep, I think.
Yeah, yeah, no, no, for sure. Um, Dude, let's well, while we're on the backpacking topic, like long hunt like that, Pedro, you got any like you got any suggestions on gear that maybe you guys aren't thinking about? Any thoughts on that stuff?
I'm not sure. Like, I don't. I have done it a bunch of times, but I'm not sure that if I'm as dialed as you have been with gear. You know, like every ounce matters and all. I think in general, like since we film hunts, the weight for us, you need to get used to the weight because, like with camera equipment, no matter what, like you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
save.
yeah, yeah. That's an interesting take. I mean, the idea of like cutting ounces, like unfortunately, you guys just can't do it.
No,
So
we do, but like
at
I
a different
haven't.
level.
I don't do it as much to kind of like have the calories per pound or whatever that I need in food and all that. I have not done it enough to
Sure.
recommend that. I think one of the things that a lot of people overlook is the emergency kit that most people don't carry much. And I'm not just talking about accidents that can happen like a cut or whatever, but also medicines for the stomach, for this. Like some people don't carry anything, and on those 10-day hunts, out of four guys that you are between the camera guy, the guides, or whatever, on every single hunt, someone gets sick.
Yeah,
Either
yeah,
if it's the stomach, the flu, the so like to be able to have something, some tools to fix that, it's key because like we have run out in I don't know. I have been with fever in a bunch of countries. We had to evacuate. Yeah, a couple of years ago, my cameraman with high pulmonary edema
oh, sure.
because of the altitude. So like things happen, and sometimes people don't take anything.
Right. Pedro, do you use any of the services like I can't remember the names of them, like, but the global rescue type of
Yeah, we
services?
do.
Okay. And have
Yeah,
you ever
luckily
have
we
you,
haven't used it. We haven't used it, luckily.
yeah, I got you.
And
But for your stuff it makes sense.
I think like the to have something like the Garmin in reach, it's a game changer. To be able to have
Right.
the location, be able to share where you are. Because once in Kazakhstan, my dad could barely move because of back pain or whatever. He really like I don't know. He had like a very strong muscle
Like a
pain in the back.
spasm or
So
something? Yeah.
yeah, so he was not in the mood to. And he's like, why don't we try to call a helicopter? It's like I don't even know how to say where we are. He's like,
Right.
he's like, first I don't know who to call, but if by
Right.
any chance we are able to call, how you tell them where we are? I'm not sure. But
Sure.
now with the Garmin in reach, you can really, if something happens and you need to be evacuated fast, you have the tools. So
Yeah, yeah, and it's it's so dynamic and it's changing now because a lot of guys are getting the satellite stuff on the they're it seems like it's in the process. I have an old iPhone, so I don't have it, but a lot of guys are doing the satellite
yeah, with
texting via
yeah
iPhones.
with the Starlink and
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, but I don't
So
know how that works internationally because I have been trying to look into that, but some countries is blocked. So like I don't know, like
okay,
I'm not sure. I mean, if I understand like satellite messaging as an option, does it work on every country or it depends on which country you are?
yeah, I don't
And I think
know.
there is a bunch of regulations around it, so I don't think it's solved yet. But I'm sure that it will be solved at some point.
I got you, but your InReach works everywhere you go.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. That's good to know. It's one of those areas that I'm naive to, Pedro. Like I just don't, I haven't dealt with it outside of North America. But it is crazy because I mean, I still remember like the sat phone days and in those days that we didn't have inReaches, and it has drastically changed things.
yeah.
It's nice to always be able to communicate even just with your wife,
I'm not sure if I'm ready to have Instagram on the mountains. I think that's like that's gonna arrive at some point. But I think I like the InReach just text you check, but like
Yeah, dude, I've had like
don't do much of
I've had
reception.
that conversation with a lot of people, Pedro, and I think it's not to get too philosophical, but Just imagine, man, we are the last generation of backcountry hunter or whatever you want to call it that doesn't have the ability to go, or that has the ability to go in the mountains and still actually be disconnected. Like 100%, our children will never have that option. Like
No,
I mean, obviously you can always have some self discipline, leave your phone at home, but nobody does that. But we're gonna be the last ones that when you're up in the mountains, you can't pull up Instagram. It'll be changed forever. It's kind of
and it's gonna
wild.
change in the next 2 years, I think. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And once that's there, once we all have internet access wherever we're at, I think it'll change. It'll change like the whole hunt camp dynamic. I think so, and it's one of those things. But but yeah, no. This stuff is it's kind of a wild a wild world you're living in, man. What do you have any? I have some in my mind, so I'm curious. Do you have any? Let's say on the filming front and the editing front, any inspirations or people in the hunting world or outside of the hunting world in terms of like how you're trying to make films?
So we are trying to tell stories, and I think it's important to kind of like find a story. Although, like we are doing some of the stuff that is not a script, so you can have an idea, and sometimes you come out with a great story. Sometimes the story doesn't happen, but
Right.
trying to tell a story that it's a little bit beyond hunting and that can appeal someone that is not hunter. Because if I will have to say like, what's your passion? For me, my passion will be to share what we do to people that don't understand and that they feel somehow attracted to it.
Right.
Because I feel like a lot of people, like in America, hunting it's very well seen. In Europe, it's not. So like we get attacked all the time. So like to be able to share what really hunting is, what most people do, and inspire like people that are not hunters, I think that's one of the things that when we tell stories, we try to share. And I think a little bit of preparation, what we have been trying to do lately is to prepare a little bit the trips, because in the past it was like, okay, let's go.
Right.
And if you prepare a little bit what you want to share and you try to focus on what's the cool thing or what makes that story unique, I think you can bring better stories. That being
Yeah.
said, some of the stories, probably some of the best stories that just, I don't know, they come by its own. And sometimes, like, for example, we were in Uganda on that trip that I mentioned about with the RPGs and all that. We went first. I ended up shooting with my bow a buffalo on the last day of the hunt. It was the first opportunity, a bit too long of a shot for the weight of the arrow and for a buffalo. We tracked the buffalo, we never recovered it. And the outfitter was like, okay, since you have the license already paid and everything or whatever, if you can make it up later on the year, you can come and just give it a second round and see.
Okay.
So we came from the first trip with a documentary that I was not gonna share because it's like I like to tell the truth, but at the same time, you need to value it. Like, is this gonna do something good for bow hunting or not? Because in
Sure.
many countries in Europe, it's not legal. So I need to pick the balance between what you share and not, because it may do more harm than good in
Yeah,
some
yeah.
occasions.
The optics of it matter. Sure.
So I was like, okay, we couldn't recover the wounded buffalo and all that. So just okay, we end up going back 6 months later, and we end up shooting the same buffalo.
Oh, jeez.
And this is like completely free range. It's huge, and I don't know. And we knew that it was the same because he had a broken horn, and the right ear was broken in three parts, so it was hanging like this.
Oh,
So
okay.
on the fifth day of the hunt or whatever, we are putting a stock to a different group of buffalo, and I look underneath a tree, and I look to the PH. It's like, it's him. Like, what do you mean? Like, it's fucking him. Like,
That's awesome.
really? Like, he like, it's him. Like, and I remember that I told the outfitter, like, okay, don't worry, I'm not gonna screw this up. Like this time, trust me, I'm not gonna shoot farther than 30 yards. We're gonna make a great shot, this and that. Like I promise. Like I made some mistakes on the last trip, and this buffalo came at 55 yards. And he looks at me, he's like, what are you gonna do? Like, shoot it. Like this is like destiny. Like destiny is like God. like I don't know how to explain the chances of finding 6 months later the same buffalo
Oh, right.
in bow
Sure.
range on such a wild place. And we ended up taking a shot, and it was a great shot, and he died in seconds. So it was amazing. So from a story that didn't have much sense to one of the best stories and coincidences
Yeah, yeah,
of
yeah.
hunting come
It's pretty.
together. So like I think luck makes a big difference.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, yeah, no, it's wild. And looking at your videos, I see that one, the bow hunting buffalo in Uganda one. But something you said, I think it's always amazed me, Pedro. You have videos on your YouTube that have 3.9 million, 1.7 million, 1.3 million views. A huge proportion of those people are not hunters. I bet if you like surveyed them, like 70, 80% of them are not hunters. If you just like look at the numbers,
Yeah.
that's generally the case. And um, it's I find that really, if I find it's always intriguing to me. My stuff's how to oriented, and I see the same thing. Like when I look at demographics, not as extreme as yours because you're telling a story and it draws in more people outside of the hunting world. But there's a lot of people that watch how to hunting stuff that have never hunted, and I think that there's an intrinsic interest in it that we underrate. You know what
Yeah,
I
no,
mean?
I think we have a big responsibility, and it's funny because we hear all the time stories of people that get into hunting because of the
Sure.
videos, which is not something easy at all. Because like some people write me, it's like, how do I get into hunting? It's like,
Yes.
it's not
Yeah.
easy. It's not easy. You need like a license. You need to get your, I don't know in America, but you need to get your like rifle or weapon license that you
Yeah.
have to go through a test. Then you need to find the tags. We don't have public land over here, so you need to join a group of hunters and join a leash, and you need to. So it's like I don't even know how you could get into hunting without having someone that mentors you and takes you. And
Right.
people like we are all busy, and every year I have been doing for a while like this exercise of like trying to bring 2 or 3 non-hunters hunting every year, because I believe that if each of us takes 2 or 3 hunters every year, that can change the whole perspective, because it's a lot of people that will understand better what we do. But it's time consuming, and we are all busy, and you have your hunting opportunities, and you are like, I don't want to bring someone that it might be a nerd and that it just I don't know
Yeah.
what's
Sure.
gonna
Yeah. Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
So it's tricky.
Yeah, but no, it is, it's interesting your perspective on it because even inside the states, I feel like it's fairly hard for people to get into hunting, and that's like, I mean, in the spectrum of places on Earth to want to be a late onset hunter, the U.S. is great because you got public land, you got tags, our firearms regulations are really in the spectrum of things fairly minimal, but I still feel like it's a pretty it is a pretty steep learning curve for people, so I
Yeah,
can only imagine.
and to do it safely, because you don't
Yeah,
want people with I mean, like semi-automatic rifles going for the first time on a public
sure.
land hunt, shooting stuff around. I don't know, like, and that's
Yeah,
how like the stuff that you do is super important, because like you can really learn a lot
yeah,
through
and
YouTube
it's
and videos and social media.
oh yeah, 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 for sure, and it's you it's just an amazing thing to me that what you said you that you get people hitting you up about that because it's I'm sure I like you'll have people that watch one of your videos and they watch your Uganda video and they're like, this is awesome. And it could be a 40-year-old guy, he's like has no interest in hunting, and then 2 years later he's hunting. Like that's like pretty insane, Pedro, if you think about it. And I wonder, and I want to hear your thoughts on it. Why do some people do it? Why do some people push through all the difficulties and the learning curve to get into it, whereas other people will always just watch your videos? Do you have any thoughts on that?
I think some of us we have it. Like I think like if you are born a hunter, you have it inside, and there is that desire that it feels like you are meant to do that, which we are actually it's what we are meant to do. Like we are
Sure.
meant to hunt, eat, sleep, and reproduce. So like that's the
Right.
whole that's our core programming is that. So some people have it in there, and I think they are willing to push whatever it takes because they know they really want to do it. And others, they just, I think it also happens in hunting. There's some people that like hunting, but they don't like as much to hunt. So it's like people that will like to watch football, but they don't want to play football. They
Yeah.
love the football, the plays, the league, how it's doing, talking about it, getting gear, getting with friends, talking around it. But then there's some people that they are not willing to put that effort to be a football player.
Yeah.
And in hunting, I think a lot of people like they like to talk a lot about hunting, the gear, the people, get together and all that, but maybe they don't have as much passion to
Yeah.
go grind for 10 days alone, you know? So
What, like what you said, I think to an outsider to this world would be like, I don't understand what you're talking about. Like, it doesn't sound rational what you're talking about, but I know exactly what you're talking about because it's stunning to me. There's two hobbies in our world, Pedro. There's the hobby of preparing for hunting and gear, and then there's actually going hunting. And for better or worse, they're very much two different things. I saw this a ton. I saw this a ton as a guide. There are guys that the quit ratio is so high. I mean, I cannot tell you
I can't imagine.
I can't tell you how many times I was in the middle of a hunt that I thought was going stunningly well, and then the third morning, the guy was like, had $10,000 worth of gear, and we were on a backpack hunt, and everything was going well, and he had it all figured out. And the third morning, he's like, you know what, Cliff? Like, I just got a lot of stuff to do at home. How about we call it? And I'm like, what? It's like it came out of the out of the blue. And then you realize like, oh, he's gotten a lot of really what he's valued is all the other stuff, and then now he's here and he doesn't really like. I don't know if it's that he can't slow down in the other aspects you're talking about. He can't slow down and actually enjoy this, or is it that he just doesn't enjoy this part of it?
No, and I think like now with social media, with videos and all that, you see a part of it, but you don't
Yeah.
see everything.
Right.
And a lot of the boring parts that you don't see, the trouble, that you are tired, like you don't feel that. And when you feel it, it's like maybe, like, I don't know. I was telling
Yeah.
a friend of mine, it happens to me with like hunting. I'm crazy about it. Like I cannot get enough. But with the spear fishing, so like it's so disruptive sometimes that when the good days, I absolutely love it. But there's some of the bad days that you are like, I don't like this enough. It's like it's not like there's water coming, the waves you don't see it because we don't have fish here. We barely have fish. You barely see fish. You are cold. You are freezing. You cannot breathe, and you're like, I don't know. Like I don't know. It's like
Yeah.
what brought me here? It's true that as soon as you get out the following day, like I want to go next week, but
Yeah, dude, it's hilarious that you say that, Pedro, because I spearfish a lot. Like, I'm obsessed with it. I've
yeah,
made
no, I have
life.
a question for you, by the way.
Oh, okay, go for it. Well, let me say this, and then I'll answer your question. So I have made life choices that are partly because of it. I've spent an embarrassing amount of time and money spearfishing, and to this day, Pedro, there are times when I dive 3/4 through the day. I'm like, I don't like this. I don't know why I do this. I'm gonna quit this activity. I don't know how I've convinced myself to do this shit. And then there's other days that are awesome and I love it. But it's interesting you brought that up because I mean I've dove a lot, man. Like I wouldn't be considered like an amateur anymore, and still there's times where I'm like, this is the dumbest thing ever, and I don't know why I've gone down this path.
I, I think it's very important that with spear fishing, the peace of mind that you need to have to enjoy it is very big. So, like, if for whatever reason you are not feeling great health wise, if you are feeling a
Yeah.
bit seasick or you are not 100% comfortable, you don't enjoy it as much because, like, the breathing, the breath hold, and all that is, I think, like being physically on a great peace of mind and enjoy it. It's the same like when I go spear fishing and you are on a rush, it is never a good day. Like
Right.
when you are looking to the timing, it's like I only have 1 hour. I need to get out of here, and like it's not. It's just
Yeah.
it's the opposite. You
Yeah.
need to be there and just.
Yeah, the way I'd put it is if the getting in the zone or never getting in the zone is highly relevant. Make it
Yeah,
really like in spearfishing, it's acutely relevant to the individual day, and at least personally, I would say it's analogous to hunting in a little bit of like a longer way. Like I've noticed this guiding people, Pedro. Like if a guy shows up and he's got something at home, could be business, could be domestic stuff, could be his daughter's wedding's coming up and he's irritated about how much money they're spending on it, whatever. The hunt, he'll never enjoy the hunt. It's
yeah, I
it's
agree.
it's it's just kind of one of those things that, for better or worse, is there. But go for it on your question, your spearfishing
Yeah,
question.
why do you guys spearfish naked? Someone told me that.
What? Guys, I've been using Onyx Maps for almost 2 decades now, hunting, guiding, outfitting. It is the gold standard tool when it comes to mapping software in the hunting world. They've been a huge supporter of my content for multiple years, so if you want to support me and you want to support them, use my code CliffG for 20% off at onyxmaps.com. It is an awesome tool that I use all the time when I'm preparing for hunts, and I use it almost every single day in the field. For navigation, knowing unit boundaries, knowing private land boundaries, it is the tool you have to have.
Someone wrote me like, you need to ask Cliff why he likes to spearfish naked. Is that a thing or not?
Dude, first I gotta know who messaged you this. I have
I
a
got a random message from someone. It's like, I know that you're gonna be talking to Cliff. You need to ask him this because I know it's a he. So I don't know if you wanna elaborate on that or not, or you are gonna
So
pass.
so here's something I will say, because I was sneaking a suspicion it's one of two people. It was probably James Nash or Tony Dooley. He goes by, was it via Instagram?
Yeah.
Okay, so particularly if it was a guy named El Squid, but so I don't spearfish. I don't spearfish naked. Um, but I will tell you something about that culture is like, and I don't know how much you've experienced this, Pedro, but spear fishermen in general are the biggest bunch of shit talkers on planet Earth.
Okay.
I don't know what it is. So that's the source of it. Yeah, I'm sure that's like sounds like that. All my like, there's a bunch of my spearfishing buddies that I'm sure if I posted up something about that, I could totally see them reaching out to somebody they don't know and be like, "Hey, ask Cliff this." Like, 'cause
I don't know
that's
if
the
it was a thing because like when the tournament, the spearfishing tournament was in Spain like 2 years ago. So I
yeah.
had Justin Lee and Ryan Meyers come over to my home for a
Okay,
month.
sure.
Yeah, because they were preparing for. I mean, like they were competing on the tournament, and those guys were like, I don't know what's going on with the Europeans, but you guys are naked all the time. Like you would just like get naked, get dressed, and in the, like
Oh
in
yeah,
the
yeah, no,
harbor, and everyone is like naked, and they were like with the towel trying to get dressed.
yeah,
And like I
yeah.
don't know, it's a thing, and you guys talk naked to each other like nothing. So
So that from a practical standpoint, if you dive with guys enough on the same boats, like you're gonna see each other naked for sure, just because it's just too damn hard to get in that of wetsuits and everything else. But no, that's funny. Have you dove quite a bit, Pedro, or is it something that you enjoy?
I really enjoy
Yeah,
diving, but it's true that where I live, it's a rough place of the world too. Like
yeah.
when these guys told me that they were doing the world championship close to my house, it's like why? Why would you want to do that? And actually, I think there was one or two teams that they didn't get a single fish during the whole
Yeah,
weekend. So it's
yeah,
like this is rough.
yeah.
So it was
Pretty.
nice to see those guys struggling because I like okay maybe I'm not as bad. Maybe my area is bad,
Yeah,
but
yeah, sure. It's a tough environment. And it's funny because those guys are from Hawaii. In my experience in the spearfishing world, Hawaii's tough. You know what I mean? Because there's so many good divers there. So a lot of like, I mean, if you're not hunting at 100 feet, you're not really hunting. You know what I mean? So it's
yeah.
like, and there's just there's a lot of pressure on a lot of the reefs. A lot, I spent half the year in the Caribbean, and down there it's a totally different deal. I mean, it's,
Yeah, here like the in general like the people from Hawaii struggle because the
yeah,
fishing
so
is
it's
way
tough.
different. Like it's not deep, so you fish typically under 30 feet. So
Okay.
it's a complete rough water, uh,
Ah, okay.
dirt. Like you need to be super fast, know how to move, boom, boom. So it's like a complete different. way
Yeah,
and
different.
just like diving up and down. Like speed matters. So
Yeah.
these guys, I think that they are used to a complete different game. To get relaxed, deep dive, get one fish, go up, clear water. So typically here only the Portuguese, the Italian, and the Spanish do well. So
Yeah, because they have a different. They've dialed in that style. Yeah, it's
yeah.
interesting, man. You know, is spearfishing kind of like a little bit analogous to your hunting world, Pedro? Spearfishing is where I personally, although it's just a segment of my life, it's where I've been able to do more of the adventure stuff. You know, I've
Okay.
gone to Panama, done a bunch of stuff in the Caribbean, all that, and it's kind of like where I guess I do a little bit more of the stuff that to me is a little bit more of the Wild West, and maybe that's because for me that's for me hunting's work. You know, not that I
I
dislike
would
hunting, but spearfishing's fun. You know.
I would love to explore that. I need to. I'm willing like to make some travel to good spearfishing areas to fish different game. I wanted
Oh
to go to
yeah,
Australia, and I was like, if we go to Australia, I'm gonna save 4 days to go
yeah,
diving over there because like I want to dive over there.
yeah, for sure. You know, if from a content perspective, it's very interesting, and I would love to watch some videos you do on it. But I know that Steve Ranella dealt with this. I know that there's a bunch of big YouTubers on YouTube, or well, I should say they should be huge, but they're not that huge in the spearfishing world. And Meat Eater did some content on it. It doesn't do that well, and I don't know. It's maybe just the audience views it as like less accessible or something. It's an interesting dynamic. I don't know why that is.
I think
Um,
like Ryan Myers, that it's a good friend of mine.
yep.
Like he's doing very well, but
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
think and there is some guys that do very well because the underwater world has something visually that we are
Oh
not
yeah.
used to. So
Yep.
like as soon as I see something underwater, I think the thing is that it's not easy to film. So I think like the
Yeah.
transition, there's a couple of guys that are doing some really cool videos, but you need like the expensive housing, a proper camera,
Yeah, it's
third
not
angle.
easy.
So it's not just a
Yeah.
GoPro, and I think that's not easy.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's not an easy thing to do. And I think the interest in spearfishing is starting to just trickle up. You know what I mean? It's
There's
just
not that
interesting.
many. The thing is that I don't think there is that many people doing it.
No. No.
Like it's tiny. Like
Yeah.
the fishermen, there is a lot. I think at least in Spain, there is like 3 million fishermen. There is like 1 million hunters, and spearfishers there might be like 200. You know,
Yeah.
not 200, but it's like tiny.
Yeah, oh yeah. And but it's like extreme difference in like
Yeah,
how many people are doing
most
each
people are
activity.
scared about it. Like the thing about holding your breath, getting underwater. I think
Yeah.
it scares a lot of people.
Yeah, and it is a legitimate barrier to entry. Like you got to kind of get the free diving component down, be comfortable in the water. So it is a thing. Um Pedro, before I let you go, man, now that we've talked about spearfishing too, I've got to ask this question. Across all this stuff, hunting, fishing, spearfishing, is there a trip that I guess you'd call like a bucket list trip that you've thought about doing that you haven't done yet that you're hoping to do someday?
I have many. Like people are
What's
like,
one of them?
you're gonna run out of hunting destinies. Like I can name you like 100 things that I
Dude, isn't
wanna do.
that, I have the same response, Pedro. I this is gonna sound asinine, dude, but I meet guys like a 25-year-old guy who's single, capable, everything else, and he's bored on this earth. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude? I'm already counting down like the days I got left because there's not enough. I don't have enough to do all this cool
And there is
shit.
like 1,000 places. Like Pronghorn in America, I would love to do it. I would love to hunt
Oh,
with
okay,
llamas.
sure.
I would love to raft. You know, like there's 1,000 things that I would love to do. But
Yeah.
one of the cool places that I would love to go is to go to Nepal.
Oh,
I
okay.
want to go to Nepal to hunt a blue sheep. Not to hunt blue sheep, but to see Nepal and the Himalayas and all that. Because I
Yeah,
think
and
like
then
the whole hunt itself with all the Sherpas and the people, like I think it must be an interesting experience, and the amount of time you need to really get used to the altitude because you are at 15,000 feet or whatever. Like the whole thing, it's an adventure that I really want to to do at some point.
Right. Yeah, no, that would be fun. It's not, and the blue sheep is just
The excuse, but
yeah, the excuse to go. Yeah, no, I totally get that. And I actually had a question when I mentioned to people that I was going to have you on, and one of my viewers, Tyler, he actually asked related, and you kind of alluded to it. American hunts. Do you have one that's been your favorite that you've done?
North America,
I'm sorry, like in the
or
States.
in the States, I mean, I think elk are amazing to
Yeah.
hunt. Like a bugle. The thing is that it competes in the same time frame as the red stacks at home.
Oh, okay.
So I love the red stacks because it's the same as an elk, but different sound, but same strategy, and we grow up hunting them. So it's hard to say like this September I'm not gonna hunt red stacks, I'm gonna hunt elk. But
Sure.
I think calling animals and interacting with the animals has something that it's very special. Like I love the calls, talking to the animals, responding, what they feel, trying to understand how they feel, trying to trick them. I think that's very, very exciting. So
Yeah, you're
probably like,
part of their
yeah, I will
world.
say,
You're kind of part of their world.
yeah. So
Yeah.
like I think like, and the bugle is just a hard thing to do. Like it took me a while to learn how to.
Oh
I did
yeah.
the I did the whole Corey Jacobson course that I highly recommended. Like I really enjoyed it,
Sure.
but like the whole, I mean, like the actual physical thing of trying to come out with a bugle. I mean, it takes some time.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. And when you're learning a bugle, like you don't want to be around other people. I
No,
mean,
no,
and
my
if
wife hated me for a month.
yeah, yeah, it's so loud. It's loud. It's annoying. I mean, I live in a place where the closest neighbor is whatever 400 or 500 yards away, and still, if I'm bugling, they're gonna hear me.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things you got to kind of laugh about. But yeah, no, I hear it. The other question I had. This is the last one I'll ask you. And you mentioned like the blue sheep. You mentioned all these other ones. This is more like a practical thing. Pedro, how do you get the animals home?
Now it's getting harder and harder. But
It
basically, like there is like exporting companies that they will get them shipped, and they fill the paperwork. They organize like the vet inspection and all that. Some animals you can bring them inside your luggage. The ones that they don't require CITES. With CITES, is a convention that they classify animals depending on their endangered status. I mean, if you can hunt them, they are not endangered. But like when there is not that many, they require more control. So like brown bears, there is not that
right,
many that are can be legally shot. So you need a permit so they can control how many are moving around. So there is not like a free market of skins and all that. And some
right,
are not even legal to hunt. So those ones you need way more paperwork. And
yeah,
now in some like there is a bunch of countries that they don't allow the import. I think America, you cannot import a polar bear. You cannot
right.
import a few other animals. I can remember there
Yeah,
were
there's
some in
several
Africa.
depending on the African countries with elephants and that sort of thing. There's bunch of limitations, but it basically it's just a country by country thing. Huh? You just got to figure it out. What makes sense?
Yeah,
It's
and
just
in Spain they changed the regulation, and now they try to charge you the VAT of the cost of the hunt.
oh,
I mean, like they try to value the trophy as the whole hunt.
the whole hunt. Okay, so
And it's
they want
like,
you to
I
pay
mean,
a
you're gonna
sales
value an
tax on it.
animal. Yeah, yeah. I mean, like the tax difference is like huge from valuing a skull that is just a piece of a dead animal. You cannot value
Sure.
this the skull as a live animal because it's not the same thing. Like there has
Right.
been a process.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, sure. You're paying for the whole.
that's a
Yeah,
big thing in Spain at the moment because like what they are trying to ask, it's insane.
pretty insane. Good stuff, man. Well, I enjoyed talking to you, Pedro. Where can people follow you?
Yeah, so mainly on YouTube. Like if you put Pedro Hunting Adventures, we try to upload one video every 2 weeks or something like that. 2 videos a month from adventures all over the world, and if not, with social media, which is
Awesome.
Pedro Ampuero CA, which is probably I'm shadow banned. Probably you will never find me, but yeah,
Oh, we all deal with it, man. Just a hunting thing. You know what I mean?
yeah, Yeah,
But
as soon as you post a rifle, you are shadow banned forever. So
yeah, exactly. But yeah, everybody should go check out his YouTube. His YouTube's insanely awesome. So thanks for taking the time, Pedro. Appreciate it, man.
yeah, thanks for everything and good luck this hunting season. Keep sharing all your stories.
Yeah, you too, man. Thanks.
Take care, buddy.
If you enjoyed this content, do me a huge favor. Subscribe on whatever platform you consume it on. Spotify, Apple, YouTube, whatever works for you guys. Everything else is on my website, pursuitwithcliff.com. Go there and it's going to be very apparent to you that I work my ass off just to not have a real job. All the hunts I guide, all the seminars I put on, all the unique experiences I offer, and the membership site, all the details are there.